More updates today on our progress with Horizons of Achaea. Hello everybody and welcome back to another developer log for Horizons of Achaea. Today I have a few updates on our progress with Horizons. And if you're new to the channel, it's a JRPG that's heavily inspired by a Dreamcast GameCube title from the turn of the century. I wanted to get out a video today, as we now have several new faces to the channel and within our other social media platforms. We've also got some new subscribers to our Patreon, which I'm incredibly thankful for, as your contributions will go directly towards the developers helping me with this project. If you're interested in supporting this grassroots effort to bring a new JRPG to the world, links are below on how to get involved, because I know that together we can bring this project to life. Our recent influx in exposure has been largely due to a news article that came out on the publication Time Extended. The links to that article are below. They found our game development project and decided it was worthy of writing about. This one definitely caught me by surprise, but I'm extremely thankful for the exposure that they've given us. So Time Extended, and specifically the author Damien, thank you for giving us a boost in exposure. I actually had this particular update recorded a couple of weeks ago, but when I got home from where I normally record, I found that my audio was pretty much unusable. So I decided to wait a little bit until I had a few more updates to come back and share an update with you all. And well, here we are. Also, in the past few days, I've had a couple of commenters ask about the status and update, in particular where we are on getting to that next stage of putting up a Steam page. It depends on a couple of key goals that we're trying to get to here over the next couple of months, but my short-term projections are sometime in the summer. But with that segue, let's talk about some of our development progress and update you all on where we're at. Right now, our short-term goal is to get an air battle fully done and ready for the masses to see. Above everything else, that's the core element of the game that I want to get refined, programmed, and running to near perfection. And this has been a bit of a challenge from three angles. The first challenge was a bit of an overestimation on my part in thinking that a single programmer would be able to mock up this battle without all the completed assets at their disposal. As I watched other development logs and studied a lot of other people's progress into making a video game, it seemed like a lot of people start to mock up their game mechanic or their core game mechanic before they have a lot of their assets in place. But every project is different. So some of the challenges that we were running into were specifically because we needed a particular asset, 3D model, or rigged animation for something else to work. This isn't any fault of anybody on our team, it's more just proper timing. So we've adjusted the priorities of our 3D modeler to get some particular assets that we need into the game done ahead of some of the other items that we had slated to be modeled. The second challenge is scheduling and managing a remote team. This is actually something really important to me because as we move forward, I want to figure this out so that we can be as flexible as possible for people that join up with our studio. Travel costs alone can be a burden on people's wallets, even if you're in a city where you're just traveling 30 minutes to and from work. That adds up. So I feel like investing the time to figure this out now will aid us greatly in the future. Our programmer did have some scheduled vacation time here through the 17th. So while he's out, that's giving me some time to get some of the 3D assets that we needed for the game programming done and completed before his return. Our composer has also had some exciting developments in his professional life occur, so he's probably going to be on hold until about June of this year, as that's when his contract wraps up. And honestly, Tony, if you're watching this now, I'm so thrilled and happy for you because I know you've overcome a lot in your adult life here to get to this point that you're at. And it's great to see you on this upward trajectory. With Tony's portion on hold, we're shifting gears in our audio department over to Ben, who's working on a lot of the sound effects that he's going to be programming into the game. Tony is our audio lead overall, so we're keeping him involved. And so it's not like the door is shut on Tony while he's out fulfilling his other contracts for the moment. So as you can see, this leads to a greater discussion of schedules for everybody involved with this project. And given that a lot of us are in different parts of the world with different time zones, managing when we can work on this between our full-time jobs and lives is definitely a challenge. Up to this point, we've been limited to about 1 or 2 particular pieces of the project per month as we move forward, since again, this is nobody's real full-time job. That includes the audio and the visual portions of it and the concept art and 3D modeling. And what I mean by that is over the last year, we've been heavily in concept mode, and we're just starting to phase into prototype mode. So we've probably been actively programming the game since about January of this year. Up until that point, it's been test some mechanics, get the 3D assets, enough of them at least for us to be able to plug them into the game to see how they look, and get a lot of our concept art and storyboards put together and ready so that when we bring those programmers on, they've got something to reference and program with. Also in that time, we've been able to see where our talent caps are. That way we know what we need to outsource in order to help us get us over that hump so that we can have a clear goal of when our Steam page is going to be up and when we're going to be able to have a playable build in order to show you all, as well as give off to publishers and investors to test out and see if we're worthy of funding. And the third challenge is constantly changing milestones and promoting all of this on social media. So from the get-go, I've wanted to document this development progress from square one, from absolute zero. I thought that it sounded fun, and it still is, and I really wanted to go back and see how I grew over this period of time. That way I've got something that I can review and figure out how to improve on whenever we move on to game number 2. But that comes with challenges because as folks are seeing us put out these videos on the internet, they might think that we're a little closer or more of a cohesive studio than maybe what meets the eye. This is definitely part of my doing because I really thought that I could get a demo out here by the end of 2024. But with the coordination of everybody's schedules, making sure that funds are available to pay everybody for their time, and not fully understanding the timelines that sometimes it takes to make some of these 3D models, textures, the rigging, the animation, all that stuff, it takes a lot of time. So, as you can tell, that's made me have to adjust my goals. That all said, there's been a really good byproduct of all of this, and that's the camaraderie that I've watched develop over time between the members of our development team. I do believe that they see the efforts that we're pouring into this without this project becoming overly demanding, which is why I believe these videos are extremely important to communicate. So for anybody watching us, they know where we're at, and anybody that's thinking about going into game design, you start to get a sense of how long some of these can take, even when you're just in the conceptual and prototyping phase. And for the record, we're now going on to get to some more detailed project updates. So here we go. We've finished up the animation and the rigging on the enemy airship that's going to be introduced into the game. That way we've got somebody to fight in this initial airship battle. We've also got the designs completed for the enemy airship's captain, and we've got his 3D model completed. Take a look at this fella. John and Devinder are really continuing to knock it out of the park with these designs. Public Enemy number 1 here will have initial animations done probably by about mid next week. So probably about the 12th or the 13th of March. We've also completed the 3D models and animations for Dane. He's another NPC character on the Cormorant. And we've finished the models for another NPC named Bert, whom I'm projecting to have animations completed by the end of the week, so that would mean about the 15th or this coming Friday. Another character that we're bringing to life is the captain of the Ark airship, and that's Captain Gerald. Valen's not the only captain navigating the vast skies. Achaea has many vessels out there trying to make a living and simply survive. We intend to have players meet a lot of these said individuals, including this particular one. Gerald commands the Ark, which is an electricity collection airship. Him and his crew are experts at submerging into the wildest of weather conditions in order to harvest electricity from lightning, to which they refine and sell to the various islands throughout Achaea that rely on them for energy to power their homes and airships. You again can see our artist's talents on full display here. I suspect that we'll have his 3D model completed here in the next week. Now, if you guys remember from an earlier post, we showed the concept art for our first Sky Island. Check out this early screenshot of the pre-textured model. It's not fully completed yet. As you can see, it's missing some stuff off onto the right. But this one has been a real labor of love bringing to life. Devender will likely be wrapping this one up here in April. As a side note, we do now have a technical animator on the team. He's just getting up to speed, but that does mean that we don't have to contract out everything for our rigging and animation work. He's currently reviewing some of our work and going to be putting some polish on it, as well as he's getting them ready for the in-game cutscenes. With finishing up the NPC 3D models for the Cormorant's crew, over the past couple of months I've been working with various voice actors to start to breathe some life into these characters. I tell you, it's definitely been a challenge finding that right voice with how I'm picturing this character sounding. But the folks that have signed on thus far have been wonderful people, and they're really taking my ideas and the script that we've got to the next level.
What do you see, buddy?
Same thing I always do. Me saving the skies.
As we get a little further into development here, kind of close to summer, I'll probably start making some announcements on who those individuals are and what roles that they're filling within the game. This has been a slow process, so if any of you voice actors are listening to this update video now, bear with me. We're getting there. We've completed the first iteration of the planning phase UI for players to interface with before the airship battle combat phase gets underway. And you'll start to see where some of our early thoughts are for airship combat. In Skies of Arcadia, one of the really neat things you could do during airship battles was choose your maneuver during certain fights. Sometimes you could get behind an enemy or do some other move that gave you a tactical advantage. But these were often limited to particular bosses and mini-boss fights where there was a linear setup to try and achieve in order to win the battle. So, if you knew what to do, there wasn't much a challenge to the fight. Very scripted, in other words. For Horizons of Achaea, the approach I'm taking is expanding upon that idea of maneuver choice and integrating it into the overall strategy for each fight. To further things, the enemy can do just the same. So you'll have to anticipate what move they may attempt to do as well. The idea being that both you and your opponent are trying to get the best field of fire on each other for the maximum amount of damage. From there, players will select their attacks and then off they go into combat. As far as leveling systems and ship upgrades, stay tuned on that piece. As we get this initial battle mechanic hammered out, we'll be messing around with how to have players upgrade their ships, add parts, and so on. And different airships will be better at certain things rather than others. That all said, those are the big highlights for the moment. And it's all an effort to get a stellar looking Steam page and Kickstarter campaign ready. I want something spectacular to show off to everybody so that whenever those items happen, we have a large influx of people showing interest in our project. This all an effort to get ourselves a publisher. I'll have some more updates as we get towards the end of March and in early April. And with the support that we've been getting thus far, I know this is going to be successful. So we're definitely going to keep pushing in order to bring you guys the best possible JRPG that we can. So we press forward, y'all. I know you folks want this just as badly as I do. But I will not settle for anything less than a wonderful experience for anyone that plays this game. I think Miyamoto was the one that said a delayed game can be great, but a rushed game can never be great, or something along those lines. I'm probably totally messing up that quote, but you know what I mean. So hang in there with me, folks, because I am not going to give up no matter how many challenges I have to crawl through. Because I believe with all my heart that I know that I can lead this team to getting ourselves a Steam page and on to the next phase of getting this game released. If you have questions or comments, leave them in the space below, and I'll try and answer them there as best as I can, or I'll just get another video up like this one today. And feel free to come join our Discord as well. I'm extremely thankful for the support and encouragement that you all have shown me over this past year and continue to show me to date. It is absolutely because of you that we've been able to make it to this point. Again, if you're looking to get involved, links are below on how to support us. All proceeds are going towards the developers helping me with this game, and I'm not taking a dime at this point in the development cycle. Thank you again for listening and tuning in to these development logs, and as always, I'll see you on the horizons.